Okay. Are we ready?
Yeah.
I'm scared. Okay. Hi, I'm Kayla, and this is Cooking with Kayla. As you guys know, I make easy, allergy-free recipes in 30 minutes or less, and today we are making an easy pasta skillet. I'm gonna go through the ingredients quick. We have our gluten-free pasta here. I use one that's a blend of rice and corn together, but you can really use any kind you like. If you're not gluten-free and you're just looking for like an easy 30-minute meal, you can even replace this with your own regular pasta. Any pasta will work here. So the first thing we're gonna do is boil the pasta, and then we can go through everything else. I already have water in this, so I'm gonna turn it to high here, and right before I put the pasta in, I'm going to salt the water. I also have some fresh tomatoes here that we're gonna cut up and put into the pasta skillet so they can all bake together. I have spinach here that I'm gonna chop up and also add to the pasta skillet. You can use any vegetable you want here. If you don't like spinach, you can also use zucchini, you can add broccoli. Sometimes I like to add peppers and onions, but it's really up to you and whatever vegetable you wanna add to this dish. I also have tomato sauce. You can make your life super simple by just buying a jar of tomato sauce. I'm not gonna judge you. Literally any tomato sauce you want is totally fine. You can also make your own homemade tomato sauce by using fresh tomatoes, tomato paste. You can use a can of diced tomatoes or just a can of unseasoned tomato sauce and add your own seasoning to it, or if you make your own or have a family member make theirs. But the key is that you want at least 2 cups of tomato sauce. This is seasoned tomato sauce, but I also like to add my own seasoning. I have a mixture here of garlic. It has basil, oregano, salt, pepper, and onion in here. Then I'm gonna add 2 cheeses. Right now I have some mozzarella here. It's fresh mozzarella, but if you want to use shredded mozzarella, you can use that as well. You can also sub a dairy-free mozzarella if you like something that's a soy-based or even a nut-based cheese. All the cheese will work the same here, so you can pick your favorite mozzarella. And then I also have some soft cheese here. I chose to use ragout here, but you can also use goat cheese. You can use like a soft feta cheese. You can even use cream cheese. And if you're dairy-free, you can just sub in the dairy-free cheese that you like the best. Okay, I guess let's set this on the side and I can chop up here. Okay, so while the water is boiling, we're just gonna chop some of these tomatoes. I really wanna be growing my own tomatoes in the backyard, but the garden's definitely not ready yet since we just moved in last year. I grew tomatoes last year, but it didn't go very well, so I'm starting over this year, and I have to really move the tomatoes to a sunnier spot. So this year, we're just buying tomatoes until I can fix the garden bed in the right sunlight. So you're just gonna chop these up into little chunks. It really doesn't need to be small. It doesn't need to be anything fancy. They're gonna break down in the pasta pot and kind of combine with the sauce to make it feel more like a chunkier homemade tomato sauce. You can also sub in red peppers as well. If you have some roasted red peppers, those would work great in this recipe too. So I like to cut up my spinach into super small pieces because when you bite into this skillet, you don't want like spinach dripping out of every bite. So I like to dice it really small. If you're buying any kind of frozen spinach for this, which totally works the same way, it's just easier if you buy the chopped kind, if that's available, it'll just save you this step here. Oh, hi, buddy. All right, let's check this box. All right, let's salt this. So I'm really bad. I know the first thing everyone teaches you when you're making pasta for like the first time as a kid is like to salt the water. I literally forget every single time. And unless Andrew's here, my husband, cooking with me and reminding me to salt the water, I honestly don't think I ever do it. Okay, so now that we have our water boiling here, we're gonna put our pasta in and you're gonna cook it for about half to maybe 3/4 of the way. You don't wanna cook it all the way because the pasta is then gonna cook in the skillet when we add it together with the sauce and the vegetables and the cheese and put it in the oven. So right now, this specific pasta that I have here is made of rice and corn and it says 11 minutes on the package, but I'm only gonna set this for about 8 minutes. So you're also gonna set your oven to 350 and you're gonna use any kind of skillet that works in the oven. You don't want something that's only for the stove because once you transfer it to the oven, it's obviously not gonna be oven safe. So make sure you have an oven safe skillet. If you don't have an oven safe skillet, you can also use any kind of casserole dish or casserole pan as well. We're gonna add the pasta to this. Then we're gonna top it with the tomato sauce on top. We're gonna add in our vegetables, mix it together, top it with cheese, a little bit of seasoning, and then put it back in the oven so it can all warm and melt together. Okay, you have 7 minutes to... So the pasta's about done here, so I'm gonna drain it and then we're gonna add it to our oven-safe skillet. Okay, so now that the pasta is ready, we are going to add it to this skillet. So if there's a little extra water in your pot, it's totally fine. You want the pasta to continue cooking in this with the sauce if there's a little bit extra water and the cheese. So really don't stress about like not draining it fully, it's totally fine. You're gonna pour the tomato sauce now on top. And we're gonna mix it all together. This is like a really basic recipe. You can really jazz this up any way you want. If you wanna add chicken to this, you can add any kind of grilled chicken. You can add meatballs. You can add any kind of ground meat as well. I would definitely have the meat ready beforehand because literally all we're doing right now is letting the pasta cook the rest of the way with the sauce and then having everything melt and warm together. So make sure you're not putting any kind of raw meat in this. You want your meat or your chicken, or if you're putting shrimp in it, you want it to be almost fully cooked before you put it in here. So we're gonna add our vegetables next. Whatever vegetables you picked were fine. I picked tomatoes and I picked chopped spinach here. You're just gonna sprinkle it on top. I made this a few weeks ago when my parents actually came to visit. I was trying to think of like some simple recipe that was really easy because I didn't have a lot of time to prepare a meal ahead of time, but I still wanted it to look really pretty. So I think the best part about this is the cheese on top because it really gives it like that wow factor, like you slaved over the stove, like making this really intense meal, when actually you just threw a couple ingredients in the pan together. Okay, so now that you have the pasta, the sauce, the tomatoes, and the spinach all together, we're gonna top it with some cheese. I have this fresh mozzarella right here. This is like the best part because you have to like eat a little bit while you're doing it. Oh, that was not cute. So you're just gonna sprinkle this on top. It doesn't have to be any special way, just like big chunks on top because it's all gonna melt. If you have shredded cheese, you're just gonna wanna cover the whole thing with cheese. And again, if you're using dairy-free cheese, it's exactly the same way. You're not gonna change any of the steps, you're just gonna do all the same things. You're gonna take whatever soft cheese you've chosen here, just dollop it on top nicely. This for me is always what makes this dish so pretty. Okay, Okay. And then the last part of this is we're gonna add our seasoning on top, just to give the cheese and the top like a little extra flavor. If you have a really heavily seasoned sauce, you don't need to add this, but I think it adds a little bit extra. So you wanna make sure you're getting the seasoning on each little pod of cheese, just so you can see it nicely. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna put the lid back on this, put it back in the oven, and you're gonna bake it for just 30 minutes. Okay, so the skillet has been in here for 30 minutes, so we're gonna grab that. It's been covered this whole time, so everything inside is melted and the pasta is all cooked now. Okay, this is the best part. And I like to do this like on the table if I'm having like people over. So when my parents were over, I was like, I'm gonna take the top off in front of everyone, but bam. Oh, it looks so pretty. So everything here is cooked and warmed together, and I like to do just a light drizzle of olive oil on top, just to give it like that little extra drizzle, so it looks even prettier in the pan. And then you're gonna get a great cheese pull when you serve this. So again, this is why you wanna be doing it on the actual table. Okay. I kind of just want to eat it right out of the skillet, but this is what it's going to look like for you guys. There's lots of cheese in here. You're going to get this great cheese ball. That's definitely like the best part. And you can see like the tomatoes really cook down with the sauce, and it kind of feels like just a chunkier, heartier tomato sauce. Ooh. And then, I'm obviously gonna add extra cheese here, but again, like if it's dairy-free cheese, if you're going the dairy-free route, I'm probably just taking a lactate before this, but you just wanna add some to make sure it looks nice. So here's what your final product looks like. It was easy, it was one pan, we made it in less than 30 minutes, and it's a showstopper. It's pretty, it's definitely gonna be hot, and it's filled with cheese. I feel like me biting into this isn't gonna be cute at all, guys. That's good. It's good. It's tomato, it's cheesy, it's packed with veggies. It's a perfect dish in less than 30 minutes.